think we're live. I do believe we're live. Hello, my name is Josh. Welcome to day 37 of The Document. This is where we are growing an e-commerce company to $100 million worth of listed inventory, and we track the numbers every single day. Why is this important? Because we're entrepreneurs. We're in a room full of entrepreneurs, and this is what we do. We build businesses, we grow businesses, and we're having a great time. So I'm an entrepreneur. I'm the co-founder of The Document, List Easier. That is an e-commerce company, a reselling company, primarily, well, almost exclusively on eBay, of course. Exclusively on eBay, not almost. It is exclusively on eBay. But also I'm the co-founder of List Easier Artificial Intelligence. And we talk about that as well, because really none of this would be possible without the artificial intelligence. So we go through it all. I also want to start this video by saying welcome. We had a pile of new UK subscribers onto List Easier, the software. So however the word got out there, thank you for joining us. Welcome. If you have any questions, josh@listeasier.com, reach out. And I'm always here. I'm always available. So I'm happy to talk to anybody that wants to talk to me. Why did I title it Wheeeeee today? Wheeeeee. You know what? I'll tell you why. I had Jane's Addiction in my head. You know, I don't know if anyone ever listened to 90s alternative kind of rock, but Jane's Addiction, Jane says, has been looping in my head over and over and over again. So because of that, I can't think of a topic. I can only sing the song over and over and over again. So I was like, what do I put? What do I put? I do want to talk a little bit about toxicity. It's always out there, and to definitely not surround yourself with toxicity, because we are in an era of greatness and growth. And I think that in this era of abundance, we should be focusing on sticking our bucket into the river and getting ours. So what has happened in the past 48 hours? I was told to stop banging this table because audibly you can hear it, even if I can't. What has changed? We are continuing on with these cassettes. It looks like we're getting through most of it. These are cassettes from Newfoundland, the East Coast, Nova Scotia, PEI, really local small bands. We've been listening through that. It's taking a little bit of time. It's something that's kind of bound us a little bit or bogged us down a little bit, but I'm happy to have it because we're still waiting on that truck to show up. So that truck still has not arrived. So that's what's in the last 24 hours. It's just more of the same. We use the software like the rest of you, and we just plug away and we build this business up. So the truckload still hasn't arrived. I'm like biting my nails waiting for this thing. I would like to have it here by now. What else has changed in the last 48 hours or in the last 24 hours? So for List Easier, the software, if you're the kind of person that uses the software and you edit your pictures after you generate the listings, there was a bug with that, which has been fixed. We isolated it, we fixed it. So that's fixed. And I think for the most part, everything else seems to be running smooth, no issues, very intuitive, all those things. Of course, if you have trouble, give me a call or email, whatever you want, josh@listeasier. So that's pretty much been it. Nothing really else has changed, just kind of plugging away, getting this stuff listed. That's the business. Nothing too stressful, not killing ourselves, but we're doing this every single day, growing it. And I cannot wait for this new inventory to come in. I just can't wait for it to come in. So let's go over the numbers. It's going to be a relaxed one today because we don't really have a whole lot different. There's nothing really new going on. This is, I think, a good thing for business. If it's just boringly reliable, we just do this every single day and the numbers go up. That's what you want. Excitement means that there's a broken process somewhere. So if the business is always exciting, there's a broken process. It shouldn't be exciting. It's kind of just quietly making money and we're quietly growing it. List Easier has 2 accounts, List Easier _records, List Easier _books. You can go to eBay and follow those accounts by clicking Saved Seller if you'd like. We have 8,075 listings live on those 2 accounts. Total amount listed $188,982.67. Excellent. Can't beat that. That's amazing. 37 days live. That's total days, not just working days. And total revenue is $9,500.60. We need this new inventory to come so that we can just really go nuts on this number, really push this up. It's not here yet. Soon, I think any day. So Super Dave will know when that sort of comes around. The topic is, I feel like a broken record. Maybe the topic should be, I feel like a broken record. My name is Josh. I am a broken record. The topic is toxicity. You know, you do tend to become the 5 closest people around you. So I've always, especially in the past 5 years, attempted to surround myself with people who are in a place where I want to be or are achieving at a very high level, because it forces me outside of my comfort zone and rise to the occasion. You know, the opposite is true too. So if you intake a lot of toxicity, negativity, you're going to absorb that and it will be part of your personality. We're humans. So I have very specifically removed a lot of things out of my life that used to bother me, like politics. I'm aware of them. I don't talk about them. I don't bring it in. People in my life that were not good for me, so they'd pull me down, or they were very negative, or you know, had a weird jealousy or a weird chip on their shoulder, and you know, was constant mind games. And all those people got to go. They don't serve a benefit. They only will make things worse. You serve a benefit to them, but they're just going to try and pull you down. That's, you know, it can sometimes be thought of as tall poppy syndrome, where the tall poppy gets cut down, or the herd always pulls in the stray. So I like to be around people that are operating at a high level, who are optimistic, who are free thinking, who are looking at opportunities and pursuing them, rather than the Eeyores of, well, it's not, you can, it's this, it's that person's fault, it's that fault, I'm a victim. I don't want any of that in my life. You can be aware of the negativity as part of your risk assessment. You don't always have to be happy-go-lucky. Of course, bad things happens and, you know, everything else, but positivity is a choice. And this goes back to what Jeff Bezos said when being interviewed by Andrew Ross Sorkin. Can't believe I just remembered those two names, especially Andrew Ross Sorkin. But Bezos said something that really stuck out, and it sat with me for a long time. And that is, being positive is a choice. Being negative is the default. So we are hardwired to assess the risks that exist in our immediate environment and to be afraid of those things. And that leads to self-perseverance. So think of it right back to our basic biology, running away from lions. We know if there's tall grass, that's danger. There may be no lions in the tall grass, but we are aware that that's a risk. So we are risk averse. The positivity is like an overriding, or the optimist, you have to override that negativity. So I am aware of the risks of starting a business. I am aware of the difficulties of starting a business, but I still believe I can do that. So it's almost a hard rewiring of your brain. It's the harder thing to do. If you were only aware of the risks, and you didn't have the optimism, so you're surrounded by toxicity and negativity, you're aware fully of the risks, and you are missing that optimism, you'd never start a business. Why would you ever start? So a hard thing to do in your life, but has to be done, is to cut those people out. That negativity and that constant, it's like a dark cloud. It will serve you no positive purpose in your life. You know, when someone shows you their true identity, believe them. When you catch bits from someone, and I've had this a lot of times in my personal life where I'm like, why did you act like that? And you see it more and more, like, why did you do that? Why are you acting like that? Why are you behaving this way? The more you see it, what that is they're holding back their true self, and it's revealing itself a little bit at a time. Believe it and move on. So that's my feeling with toxicity and negativity, and that leads into a victim mindset where, I have people in my life, let's say, and they have a similar path and a similar life circumstance, but they are negative all the time. It's nothing but negativity. Everything is the worst, everything's bad, and they're a victim of circumstance that they can't control. I'm very positive. I see a lot of opportunity. I'm very optimistic. I think the future is going to be great. I really enjoy every single day. The thing is, we're living in the same life. We may have different history behind us, but optimism is a choice. It's a choice. Negativity is the default. You have to be strong enough to override that and push through. That's how business is. Alex Hormozy always says that if running a business was like a marathon, it would be like, here's the start point and here's the end point. So you have a goal in mind. But the problem with business, starting your own business, it's like run, just free run. There is no end. There's no course. You have to just keep running and never stop. Every hard mile, every peak, every valley, you got to run through it all and never stop. And that's business, because it is hard. It's very hard, no matter what you do. So that's my broken record topic today. I got to have a topic every single day, and that's kind of where I wanted to go with that. Negativity, I hear it. I talk to people that I haven't spoken to in a long time, and I'm like, why are you so negative? You've got a lot going on that's really amazing. You seem to focus on the things that are outside of your control that are super negative, and it's weighing you down. You don't need that. It's like a ball and chain. You could run free if you weren't. And the thing is, it's like a ball and chain that you're holding. It's not around your ankle holding you back. You're carrying it with you. Drop it and move on. It's hard to do, but it starts with reaching out and moving towards those who you either admire, inspire you, are in a place that you want to be or want to go. See what they are doing even beyond what they say, and start moving in that direction. Because people are people. People are people. And personality-wise, in many ways, people who are successful and people who aren't, and whatever you define success as, it doesn't really matter. That's not the point of this. But they're the same people. Personality-wise, they're very similar. But their mindset of how to navigate through life is different, if that makes sense. It made sense the way I was thinking it. Okay. Let's start talking to the live chat. Have some coffee. But today is going to be, can I take this hat off? Is my hair too much of a disaster? Yeah, it's a little bit. I don't really care, though. It is what it is. Eric Gunta says, hey, and it's a flip. It says, hello, good to see you. Steve Vash says, good afternoon, everyone. Snoopy Collector with the red hand, shooting the blood out the fingers. I know that's not what it's doing, but I like to say that. Missy B says, good morning. Listing over here like a crazy person. Sales are up. I'm super happy. Bam. Crush it. It's awesome, Missy. Congratulations. Adam Record Crate says, hey, I trust you are swell with 5 stars. I hope you are well as well, or swell as well, Adam. Hope everything's going well with you. James says, if I ever grow up, I'm going to buy a blue shirt. Yeah, I don't know. Should I start switching colors? This is blue and red, but you can't really see the red. I don't know. Can you see the... I have a button popped there, but... Classic Phase says... Cheers. Good to see you. Welcome. Good afternoon, Flogger with the professional logo. Always looking good. Good to see you. M. Cole 42 says, hello, guys. Good to see you, M. Cole. Welcome. Then Decordipo says, high noon at the Listies Your Saloon. Let's talk millionaire mindset. The millionaire mindset. You know what? The millionaire mindset, I think... There are people in my life who are exceptionally successful in business, meaning that they've scaled businesses. Not everybody's goal, I know, but they've scaled businesses to incredible levels. And what I've noticed from them is that how do I phrase this? They are patient with results, but impatient with action. So they act very quickly, but they are patient with the results. So if they make a decision that they're going to do something, they're moving forward with that. But they're willing to delay their gratification for the results. This sounds very simple, but a lot of people are opposite. So they are impatient with the results and they procrastinate the action. I really should do this. I'll get to it tomorrow. But after only doing something for a couple weeks or a month, they're like, how come it's not this? It should be this already. This sucks. It's boring. So very successful people in business flip that around. They can see it long term. And they're willing to delay gratification. So even if their business comes into windfall, they will reinvest that into the business as opposed to buying a new truck, going on a vacation, buying a motorhome, whatever. That is a harder thing to do, believe me, because you can trick yourself into believing that you deserve all these things, all the trappings of your success, when really, if you just keep reinvesting and keep going, you'll get to a point at some point, if you keep going, that money is never a problem. That doesn't become the problem anymore. It's no longer the bottleneck. The bottleneck is like strictly process related or hiring related. Spam Banshee Bridget says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. John J. UK says, good evening, Josh. Good evening to you out in the UK. John, what happened? Did you tell all your friends? We had a big rush of UK sellers come in to the List Easier, the software overnight. And we must have hit on a Facebook group or something, or someone flipped the switch somewhere, because it was a big rush from the UK sellers into List Easier software. Flip It Good says, hello, good to see you. Diane Vanderlinden says, hello, finding the right group has changed my attitude. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Diane. That's good to hear. Yeah, Adam Record Crate, have you seen my wig around? I feel naked without it. That's Jane's Addiction, everyone. I'll keep going, too. I know, Adam, and now you got it back in my head. In it to Flip It says you need to file an INR on that truck. I know. I'm anxious to get it here because I want to proceed on the second tranche of the deal. So I want to get these things here now so that we can already get the next tranche moving up here. So let's get everything going. I just want to see with my eyes what this stuff looks like. If it's a bad deal or a raw deal, we'll move to another supplier. But if it's good, like we think it is and like they say it is, I'm ready for the second truck. Like, send it already. I just have a feeling that Spencer the Oracle is going to blow through this stuff. And I'm seeing the library in Dublin where the harp is. And I recall being there, and I can see it right away what it is. It's up there on the screen. But yeah, I just want to keep rolling. I want to get this stuff going. So I want it here so I can get my eyes on it, and I'm ready to order more. Let's keep going. The 405 Picker from Oklahoma. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Andy Reno from Indiana says, hello and how's it going, Mr. Galt and chat? Good to see you, Andy. Welcome, welcome. Primo Chemo says, aloha, Josh and chat. I look forward to my noontime document meditation. The document is getting slowed down by this stuff, which, Slim Dusty and his Bushlanders. It's Australian. Have you heard of any of these people? Brian Finn. Here we got another Brian Finn. The incredible Harry Hibbs. These are very Newfoundland names, by the way. I got to make sure I don't. The Irish Rhapsody with Richard Heyman and his orchestra. Fortune Bay Suns thereby. Where is Fortune Bay even? I would imagine that that's going to be in Newfoundland. So these tapes are rare, but they're going to have to wait for their buyers. So you're going to have hankering for some Newfoundland jigs. I don't even think they call it jigs. Shanties? Lucky Fine says, good morning and true. Good to see you. John J. UK says, I can't stand anyone with a victim mindset. It's a dark cloud. I mean, but you can run into problems and you can express the frustration. I mean, that's one thing, but the people, right, John? It's like they're all the time. And you're just like, dude, you are holding me back. I can't have you around me anymore because you're like this infection that keeps coming and infecting me over and over and over again. I don't want to hear it anymore. I know things are bad. There's problems. I get it. It's been like that since the beginning of time, since the first asteroid hit the Earth. I understand. Moving on, Yeah, exactly. Missy B says, I'm a pessimist by nature. It is hard to overcome. We all are. By nature, we are all pessimists. It is the harder thing to do. And so we're all in sales. When you go to someplace like eBay Open, again, like the pessimist mindset, you don't really, you're like, maybe this person doesn't want to talk to me. Now, I don't know if I should go up to them. I don't know if I should talk to them. That is a little bit pessimist mindset too, because you're already telling yourself that this person doesn't want to talk to me. So you're afraid to approach. But the optimist mindset is, of course, they want to talk to me. They probably are worried about talking to people. I'm just going to go up to them and start talking. A lot of people appreciate that, honestly. And in sales, you kind of have to have that. So I always have an optimistic mindset. Now it's become my default. It's like overridden everything. And it has helped me a lot too, because with List Easier, the software, when I do customer support calls, it allows me to get into the mind of what does the person want on the other end. So if they're expressing frustration, it's like, okay, why are they frustrated? And maybe we can fix it. Or if they're really, really happy, and I'm like really happy too, I'm saying, great. If there's something, that they want, it's like, okay, well, let's find out what they want. I think pessimism would be taking it as a personal attack, or it upsets you, or you emotionally take it in, but that's not what, that's not the intention. That's not where the conversation is going. Basically, what I'm trying to say is being optimistic has totally changed my life. So even when bad things do happen, and they still do happen all the time, I'm like, well, sun still comes up tomorrow. It is what it is. What can I do? It's changed my life. Spam Banshee says, although you're still working for yourself, but now with partners and an employee, have you lost any freedom, spontaneity compared to when it was just you doing eBay? That is a great question, Spam. Spam Banshee is asking me, have I lost any freedom or spontaneity now that I have partners? I would say I have more. I have more now. We have, as far as List Easier software and List Easier document, we have a division of labor. So we know what the other one's good at. So, Dave is very good with this, warehousing, keeping things organized, keeping the whole supply chain going, the logistics going. He's an expert at it. He's also very good at front end design for software. Travis is very, very good at the back end. Him and his team, I mean, clearly the software is incredible. He is the best of the best. I am better with customer facing stuff. I like talking to people. I like meeting people. I like finding out what they like and what they don't like. I can do it all day long. That's more my style. So since we've divided, and Spencer, she can put her head down and she can outproduce anybody, hands down. She works like in a relaxed state. She can do, what 3 people in a stressed state can do. Just, and she'll put on TV or something and she just hammers through it. So that division of labor, we don't step on each other's toes. We know what we're responsible for and we just proceed. Some days I have a bad day where I feel overwhelmed, but that's all on me. That's my plate. I have other days where I have some more free time. I would say that everybody is the same way. And because the software allows us to be so productive, things happen where, like Spencer, the Oracle, is like, hey, I'm going to go to Florida for a couple days. No problem. Have fun. It doesn't have that dramatic of an impact. It's actually better for everyone that stuff like that happens. So I would say that I have more spontaneity and more free time. So before, with my eBay business, I was running one eBay business and doing it all myself. And it was a struggle to keep up because, again, the listing process is so long. It used to be time consuming. It was an obstacle to generating revenue. It was boring. It was emotionally draining, repetitive, all those things. All that's compressed down to nothing. Now that that's gone, I can co-run or run 3 or 4 businesses and have more time. And now I'm coaching my son's rep baseball team. I'm on the executive board for the baseball team. I am, doing things like going to the gym and sleeping a full night's sleep and going on vacation, just saying, hey, I think we should go on vacation. Let's go on vacation. None of this was possible before without the software. I was just grinding and barely surviving, and there's nothing I could do more at the time. It wasn't profitable enough to hire an employee. Every dollar had to go back into the business, and I was just push all the time. So I think I have more time now. I feel you probably all notice that I'm a little bit more relaxed. I like to go shopping for clothes. I like to, I took my daughter on Sunday to the golf simulator and we just went golfing together for like 2 hours. I never came up for air before. Software has allowed me all that time and I'm utilizing it correctly. And it's also allowed us to do things like hire somebody to build up this business. Now I have my own business, of course, WHS Stereo View. There's about 39,000 items. I do have another 200 items that still got to get listed there, or more, probably even more than that if I count the rest of the stereo views. But that will eventually wind down. The goal is to wind down when the document replaces that income fully. And it's not there yet. The document is now running at a level pace. It pays Spencer the Oracle. It pays for everything that we're buying, inventory and shelving and all this other stuff, but it's not profitable yet. It's only a month old. It will get there. So the goal is to completely wind that one down, shut it down completely once this one is running full tilt. That was a good question, Bridget. Thank you. Just Beth Cooking said, I need my 7th grade daughter to hear this. Lots of jealousy and cliques in middle school. My daughter the same way. With a lot of negativity, trying to help her navigate it. Yeah, it's difficult, Beth. My daughter's the same way. It's a lot of cattiness with the girls. I almost think the girls are meaner than the boys. So my son, it's always this threat of physical violence at school. So he's always worried that the other boys are going to gang up and, hit him or something. And it's usually physical teasing and pushing and stuff. If they're playing football or something, it's like an extra elbow or something like that. But the girls are they use their words. So it's a lot of shunning, like I brought a piece of candy for everybody who's my friend. And there's 5 friends, but she only hands out 4, like sending a very clear message that you're no longer my friend and I'm not giving you candy, which is very sad because the other girls are like, what did I do wrong? They're jockeying for this social position. So I get it. It's hard. It's really hard. Den Decor Depot says the toxicity is why I left every reseller Facebook group. Oh, it's brutal there. It's brutal. It became a time suck and I stopped learning from them. Oh, it's so bad. They don't need to be that way. It's so bad. Why is it like that there? Tell them to get into the 2026. If anyone is on those Facebook groups, just tell them straight out. It's 2026. Doesn't have to be this way. Don't it doesn't have to be this way. Mike Sellers from South Dakota, I think, says, yo, good to see you. Swamp Picker, welcome. It's good to see you again. Johnny Worldwide Weber says, on your topic, I would recommend a book, The Power of Awareness. I have not read The Power of Awareness. Thank you. I will, though. I'm always looking for more information. Eric Bressi says, a high of 44 degrees here today in Ohio. Woot woot. That's awesome, Eric. Cindy, Where Pigs Fly Farm says, you are so right. And are you in Missouri? I want to say. You are so right. Whether you believe you can or you can't, you are right. That's a quote. I want to say it again. Whether you believe you can or you can't, you are right. That's a mindset thing. I believe it was Henry Ford who originally said that. I believe those with a positive attitude succeed for sure. And will have a much higher chance of success because they at least try. I mean, if you have a negative mindset and you're like, I can't do it because X, Y, Z, then you never try, but you also never fail. So you've avoided that whole thing. The optimist will go and fail and like dust themselves off. Okay, I learned from that. I'm going to try again. Dust myself off. Okay, that was a mistake. I'll go again. But eventually you get good at what you do. There's no one who, played baseball for 20 years straight and they were a horrible baseball player. Like they might be horrible in comparison to the best baseball players, but no one plays consistently for 20 years and then is as good as the rest of the population at baseball. Like it's virtually impossible. You put the reps in, but you got to try. You got to fail. You got to strike out. You got to miss those pop flies. You got to be on the mound as people walk around the bases and you just keep throwing balls over and over and over again. That's how you learn. The crazy card says keep your day job. Doesn't like the singing. Rob's special interest says, hello, Josh. Having a subscription nightmare. Renewed it, but not registered on List Easier. I emailed Dave, but no answer yet. Rob, I saw you came up as being subscribed. It says that you're registered and subscribed. Can you email me, Rob? It does. I talked to Dave about it. We're under the impression that you're in now. Because on our end, it shows that you have your subscription. Everything is good. What is it saying on your end? Anyway, send me an email. Wheels and Resin said, I had to cancel chemo because I have the flu. Boo. On my way to the ER, just want to say thank you for the support. Take care of yourself, Wheels. We're all thinking about you. And we're sending you our prayers, of course, as Beth just mentioned. Missy B says, I have never even gone to an eBay open. I had a good time last time. I posted a short yesterday or this morning, I don't remember, using Cdance 2.0, or Cbyte 2.0, I don't remember what it's called, but it was a picture of Jamie Iannone and I just standing there at eBay Open. And then, before I left, I shook his hand. So I asked the AI to recreate what had happened based just on the picture, and it did an incredible job. I can't even tell. Adam is sending blessings to Wheels, of course. And Wheels is saying thank you to everyone. Rin Resale says, the blue shirt store loves to see you coming. Sorry, I couldn't resist. I do love a blue shirt. Wheels and Resin says, don't compare yourself. Run your own race. Thanks and take care all. That's very good advice, Wheels. Thank you. Spam Banshee says, are you keeping Shopify? I am. Yes. So that's another good question. Bridget is asking if I'm keeping my Shopify store or my website. I am. And the primary reason for that is on that site, WHS Stereo View, if anyone wants to go, there's a registry. And that is a registry for, which is essentially where you go to see some more information about your item after you buy it from me. So that registry is for Breweriana, Tobaciana, and Stereo Views and Antique Photos. So the site gets a lot of views and a lot of attention, but everybody is going to that registry. So I feel now this loyalty to all those people who have purchased items and are competing in the registry, including, museums, historical societies, and everything else. Now there is this database with all this information. So I'm going to just keep that going as long as I live, pretty much. I don't want that information gone off the internet. I think it's historically important. I think it's an important part of American history, and I'm just going to maintain it and keep it going. I may list cool pieces as I find them. There's Like I bought a piece from Josh, shouldn't say it if you can't think of the name. Harriet Beecher Stowe. So I have an original photograph of Harriet Beecher Stowe. When I found it, I was like, gotta buy that. I have to get that. That's incredible. That's an incredible piece of history. Also, one from what's his name from the Mormon Church, who settled Utah, built the temples and everything. I have an original photo of him too. So when you see stuff like that, I can't pass it up. And I'll probably put that on my site and run it through the registry as well. Cindy is in Central Missouri. Awesome. Diane Vanderlinden says definitely bad in some other groups, and some are even worse in person. You'll never make it out like that. That kind of negativity, you'll never make it out. It will just destroy you because it's not that bad. If there are people doing well and succeeding, then it's clearly possible. So if you have a room of here like 500 people that watch this and majority of them are doing well, then it's possible. So what is it that the Facebook groups aren't doing that this group is doing? And that's the golden bridge to cross. Spam Banshee says that those Facebook groups are insane. I avoid them now because they always made my blood boil. Yeah, it's brutal. There are some of them where a new seller will come in and say, like, how do I set up shipping or something like that? Like, it's a easy kind of question for people who have been doing this a long time. And rather than actually help the person, they just like dive bomb them. They're rude. They, make fun of them, all this other stuff. I hate that. I really hate that. That's a terrible environment. Not everybody's like that in the Facebook groups. I don't want to paint Facebook with a broad brush because there's a ton of great people there, but it seems to be a little bit more prevalent there. Rin Resale says those Facebook groups have people encouraging you to make police reports and contact an attorney over a $22 INAD. Exactly. It's a cost of doing business. Retired with books. Good to see you. Says, hi, Josh. I sell vintage postcards. Just new to List Easier. Listed about 9,030 days. I'd like to talk with you about real photo postcards, how best to get in touch. Retired with books, send me an email at josh@listeasier.com. We can talk about postcards if you want. Land Shark Picker says, good afternoon, Craig. Good to see you. Welcome. It's me, Jimothy. That's a cool name. I've been spreading the good word about List Easier at the post office and thrift stores to reselling strangers, and everyone is very interested. Thank you. It's me, Timothy or Jimothy. You don't have to do that. That's very nice of you, but you do not have to do that. But thank you. Very much appreciated. Den Decor Depot says the other part of the mindset. If you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. That is correct. I agree with that. That's like a poker analogy almost, where they say, if you think you're the best player at the table, you're the dupe. If you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You're keeping the wrong friends. Or you've got an arrogance issue. That could be the problem too. Lag says hello. Good to see you, Lag. Brigham Young. Thank you. It's me, Jimothy. Yes. Thank you. Brigham Young. I got a Brigham Young, small little daguerreotype of him from the 1850s. It's really, really rare. So I have a buyer in mind for that. The Historical Society in Salt Lake City, who archives all this stuff. I think that's where it should go. So once I get things organized with, everything that's going on right now, I'm going to reach out to them and ask them if they're interested in that piece. And I think they will be. Craig says, why am I here? Spam Banshee Bridget says, regarding your Shopify, did you do anything special to drive traffic to your website? Yeah, I did. That's another really good question as far as the Shopify is concerned. So primarily the the primary driver of traffic for me was the registry. So I would list items raw on eBay, sell them, and then I would encapsulate them. Like I did all this post sale manufacturing that my buyers really enjoyed. And I would put a registry number on it, and I'd pack it up all nice and neat. And in the registry, if you went to the registry, it would have um, all the details, like who the photographer, well, not that, no, when it was purchased, a description of what it was, because these don't always exist on photographs, who it was owned by, the provenance, whether or not it's graded, 2 photos of it, who the current, what current collection it resides in and what previous collections it resided in. So all this information was there, and my buyers loved it. They like this. They have a very historical mindset. They're like, cluing this stuff together, trying to figure out where these pictures are from and who took the photographs and everything else. So it provided all that information, which brought them to the website. The thing is, I never really drove sales that way. So people inherently for this kind of stuff trust eBay more because they know that if there's an issue, they could just buy it off of eBay. So they would come to my site and then they would go to eBay and purchase it off eBay. Like, hey, I saw that, the registry, it was awesome. I'm buying this item. I want it on the registry. So that's kind of how it was going with my site. I still put products on my website, but Google downranked them all because they were not SEO optimized, and they still aren't, which now there's List Easier and I can do that. So the registry has been what the website's all about, and the registry drives the traffic. So people are competing with each other. They're browsing through the registry. They want to see what collection certain pieces reside in. If there's a piece that is super rare, like who has it? Is it in Harvard's collection? Was it in Harvard's collection? Was it, all those kinds of things. That's what really drove that website. The thing is with antique photos and stereo views and everything, it's a very niche market. So, the total addressable market or the total serviceable market, SAM or TAM, is very small in comparison to, let's say, something like this, the document. Beard forgot. Start over. No problem. No problem. Craig says I already asked to start over. I guess I need to leave. We can start from the beginning. James says, I am the smartest person in this chat with long hair, born in St. Louis, named James, with hemorrhoids and a St. Bernard. Thank you for sharing that, James. Appreciate you. And to flip it, it says, I'm definitely in the right room. Laugh out loud. I'm definitely in the right room, too. We're having a little bit of hemorrhoid talk in the chat. Hit the thumbs up if you're here with me still. If you're watching this and you're enjoying this, hit the thumbs up. Let me know you're there. And send me a subscription if you haven't done it. Subscribe to the channel. It's me, Jimothy says, something to add to your hit list is checking the width of content on the List Easier homepage. It isn't quite mobile friendly. The content runs off the page. Also, a couple of contrast issues where it is unreadable. Yeah, hopefully this is going to get resolved. We've just been so busy. I know this has to be fixed, and others have brought this up, that if you go to mobile, there's parts of it that kind of runs off the side page and you can't scroll over. I think that's particularly a problem on the iPhone. Hopefully when we switch fully over to mobile and we start focusing on mobile, we can get that fixed. But yeah, that's a UI UX issue that we can definitely get fixed. Part of it though too, I mean, this is not part of it, but we don't encourage using mobile yet. It works. Your mobile browser works on your phone for List Easier, but you'll really get 1,000 times more production if you use the desktop. So we're looking forward to when we are fully committed to mobile and we start really working on that. It's a few iterations away, or an iteration away, but it's definitely coming. Diane is still here working away. That is awesome. There are people in my life that when I do hang around them, they inspire me. They just, you know, we were at a meeting last Thursday, and it was an inspiration. Everything was so well presented. The discussion was very rich, and uh, everybody in that room wanted to be in there. It was question after question. It was very engaging. We're all business owners. That's what we enjoy. How can this work? It can work? Can we do this? What about that? What about this? And the very numbers oriented. That is inspiring to me, because you go to that and you're like, that is how it is done. That's how these deals are done. That's the professional way of doing it. I appreciate that. And that's like setting the bar now. So now when those meetings are being had, that's the level, right? That's where the bar is set. We do the same with the software, with List Easier. We set the bar high. If you want to offer a competing software, you got to come down to our prices, but you also have to come up to our service. We have that. We own that gap right now. So, but there are people in my life just have, I'm so indebted to them, because they've just set such a high standard and forced me, if I want to stay with that group, to operate at that high standard. But eventually that high standard becomes par for the course. This is who I am now. This is how I react to situations. So it's been a huge benefit, both personally and professionally. Bridget Spam Banshee says, yesterday Biff mentioned he's starting a website with Shopify. Nice. I love the idea, but I was wondering about driving traffic and customers' confidence in making purchases. Thanks for the insight. Yeah. So here's the thing with Shopify. Shopify will always perform better if you're selling new product. So think Pegasus Lounge. He's doing the private label, white label thing. So he's got an idea. Let's say, I'm going to make something up. Let's say magic carpet. Pegasus Lounge he's got a magic carpet. He knows how to sell magic carpets. So he calls a supplier in China and says, listen, I got this great idea for magic carpets. I'm starting to see it trend in Google, but nobody's really doing it. And the prices are getting pretty crazy on it. I want to order 1,000 magic carpets. Here's what I want it to look like. Sends them the design spec and everything. They do a little bit back and forth. Those 1,000 magic carpets come in, and then he sells them branded on his website. That's where Shopify does very well with new product. The reason is because that moves hand in glove with Google Shopping. And Google Shopping will recommend high-ranking product if it is new. But Google Shopping doesn't do that. Google Shopping. Google PageRank is how you get around that with used product. So Shopify, it's a little bit different. Shopify doesn't have the ecosystem for used product to get good PageRank on Shopify pages in the Google search algorithm or in any of the LLMs. eBay does, which is why I've always said, eBay has the perfect ecosystem. They're creating, you can create a web page where you are the definitive authority on that product and then get super high rank on Google and then sell that product because you're at the top of the list. It's like this crazy hack. Shopify doesn't really have the same ecosystem. So for me, I noticed that a lot of my products got downranked. They're not really optimized anyway, but that ecosystem doesn't really work the same with Shopify. I think BigCommerce might work a little bit better with used items, but for used items, I'm going to be honest with you. Unless you're branding, this is where my Shopify account did reasonably well, but mostly it was for the registry, was the brand. WHS Stereo View is a brand. If you talk to people in stereo who collect stereo views, they know who WHS Stereo View is. That's the brand. So the brand has a website. It's like supporting the brand. But if it's just random stuff, it might as well just be on eBay. That's my opinion. Unless you have a way of figuring it out. But eBay's got this it's this really great moment in time where you can optimize your eBay listing, and essentially it's looked at on Google as a web page. And that web page will get very, very good rank off site, which means that buyers who have latent intent, so they are interested in this thing. They don't necessarily want to buy it, but they're interested in it. You're showing them the item, which will at some point in time convert into a sale. Why is this important? This is basically what advertising does. So when you advertise on Facebook Marketplace or you use Facebook ads, they're showing those ads to people who are interested in those things, like your target conversion audience. With the eBay ecosystem, along with List Easier, you're doing the exact same thing. You're basically promoting off-site without actually promoting. It's genius. So, and it's eBay's ecosystem that allows for that. It's one of the few sites that actually allows for that, where it ranks very high. Etsy is another one. Abe Books, it's integrated very well for off-site visibility. It's me. Jimothy says, by the way, welcome, Jimothy. It's good to see you. I think this is the first time I've ever seen your name on here, and I like it. Says, I use desktop in my workflow. Just having people interested visit the page on their phone when talking in public. That's really cool. Thanks for all the work you and the team do. Most responsive founders I've ever seen. Thank you. I appreciate you, Jimothy. Bearded Picker says, I'm here shipping all these sales. List Easier rocks. Scott Bearded Picker had 100 packages going out on Monday. I'm like, I haven't heard from you. Where are you? And he's like, dude, I'm buried right now. I got 100 things to go out. Craig says to Beth, 6 out of 8 months into her Shopify journey, or 6 out of 8 months into her Shopify journey, she sells primarily plus size women's clothing. Shopify is great, but you have to generate your own traffic, and your cost to acquire a customer can get much more expensive than eBay fees. Totally agree. Yeah. Shopify can be expensive. I don't recommend it for anyone selling used items unless you have a pipeline, a customer pipeline. So you have a big following, let's say, on YouTube, and you are in selling things that your audience would really enjoy. So for me, at the time, most of my audience wasn't super interested in antiques, but that was my thing, my passion. So I never really was like thinking of audience as being a pipeline to selling things to them or whatever. But I would say that if you are like doing a cooking channel and you have your own cookware, Shopify is perfect for you. You brand your own cookware, you have a cooking channel, like you're all about cooking, you got the niche covered, Jimothy says, oh, already got that one. Landshark says, oh, no, Jimothy. I'm usually good about ordering shipping supplies, but List Easier has me scrambling for supplies because my sales and listings have taken off. I must adapt. Lots of people in that situation, myself included. I got caught off guard. I didn't have enough bubble wrap, so I had to race over here yesterday and get some. But yeah, you got it. That's the thing with List Easier is it's fun to, put up 2, 3, 4, 5, 9,000 listings. I think somebody said, but if you're used to maybe getting 1 or 2 sales a day and now you get 20 or 30, that's on you. You got to get that stuff out. So, okay, everyone, with that, we're at the bottom of the chat. Thank you all. I appreciate you all. We will see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got a lot I got to do today. I appreciate you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye for now. Wheels and Resin, we're all thinking about